Republicans had very mixed results up and down the ballot in last night's primaries. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time to do a post-mortem of last night's primaries because everyone, just like most primaries this cycle, Republicans had a very mixed night up and down the ballot. Now, obviously there were some wins here and there, and when you look at a couple states, yeah, we actually had some significant wins. The problem is, it wasn't a great night. Yeah, some victories here and there are nice, but when you see some of the L's we took last night, you would realize immediately, okay, yeah, some of these were absolute embarrassments. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us start with the state of New Jersey, and let's just say it right off the bat. It was a very boring night. Yeah, you had a couple primaries here and there, but outside of the Senate primary for the Republican side, you didn't see squat. Like, you didn't see anything. It was very boring, and when it comes to the Senate primary, Andy Kim was the Democrat nominee since Murphy dropped out. That was a foregone conclusion. On the Republican side, though, Trump did endorse Glassner. And she did, in fact, lose by 7 points. And many people were saying, well, this is proof that the Trump endorsement's very weak and all of that. Well, that's not necessarily true. New Jersey still has the county line system. And for those that don't know, it's an incredibly corrupt system where county parties like, let's say, the Hudson County GOP, they endorse a candidate and their endorsement's on the ballot. Effectively, you vote for the person they endorse. It's a super corrupt system. And what happened was Curtis Bashaw got the endorsements of, I believe, the Ocean County GOP, Burlington, etc. So the southern half of the state. And in the state of New Jersey, Ocean County is where the Republican votes at. It's not in Hudson. It's not in Union. A large chunk of it was in places like Ocean, Burlington, Atlantic, etc. And that's why he won. Now, Bashaw is, I guess you could say, the more electable candidate in this race. He's like the Chris Christie type. He's a Chris Christie Republican, which in New Jersey, that's about as conservative as you can get to win a statewide race. That's a reality of the state of New Jersey, and he won the primary. Now, will he win the general? I highly doubt it. Yeah, you do got Bob Menendez running, but even with that in mind, I still think Curtis Bashaw has no realistic chance of winning. Like, yeah, he did do better than expected, but that was because of the county line system. If it wasn't for that, more than likely, Glassner, who was the Trump-endorsed candidate, would have won. So, either way, the New Jersey primaries, you didn't really see much of anything. On the Democrat side, you did see Bob Menendez's son hold on barely. He won by 18 points. So, that was about it. On the Republican side, there was nothing. The closest one was like Thomas Keenan. He won by 50 points. So, it was a very boring night in New Jersey, as you could tell. No real competitive primaries, not even in the House. At least on the Republican side, it just was a boring night. So, New Jersey was just whatever. Nothing really occurred. We also had the results out of Iowa, and I'm going to say this right off the bat. Trump should have intervened in some of these primaries. I understand that, okay, some of these results, they might have been a stunning turn of events. No one knew they were going to happen. But either way, if Trump would have endorsed against Miller Meeks and Fenstra, especially Miller Meeks in Iowa 1st, there was a chance she would have lost. She won by 12 points. For an incumbent against a no-name challenger with no money, that is a pathetic result. The guy had like $2,000, and he got 44% of the vote. Same thing in District 4. Feenstra got 60% against a guy that had no money, no name recognition. He might have had the Mike Huckabee endorsement or something, and that's it. In other words, there was potential here. We could have seen actual conservatives winning these seats. And again, I'm not blaming Trump for this because I don't think anyone thought that Miller Meeks would have possibly went down. Most people thought that she was going to hold on. It might have been closer, but no one thought that Feenstra was going to have 40% of his district vote against him. But that's exactly what happened. There are some primaries where I do question if Trump would have intervened, we could have gotten actual conservatives in these seats. But an egregious example of what happened last night, and this is Trump's fault, was Montana 2nd. There is no defense to this. Troy Downing was the Trump-endorsed candidate. We went from Matt Rosendale, one of the best congressmen in the House, to a moderate Republican in a what? Trump plus 30 district? Now, Downing more than likely would be better than Denny Rayburger. And for those that don't know, this guy is a former congressman. He sucks. I'll give Trump that yeah, he probably stopped Denny Rayburger, but there were other options. You didn't have to support Downing because if your endorsement's as strong as you say it is, which, yeah, there's some truth to it, there were other options here that were actual conservatives. But for whatever reason, Trump did not endorse the House Freedom Caucus candidate because he's still mad at them. Again, I understand that the House Freedom Caucus at times, there could be some question marks about them, but you could have endorsed Elsie Arntzen and she would have had a chance. Would she have won? Maybe not. But a Trump endorsement can help candidates that originally would have no chance at winning to suddenly having a serious chance at winning. That's how strong the Trump endorsement can be. It doesn't mean it's perfect 100% of the time. It can be defeated. But this was an opportunity to replace Rosendale with another House Freedom Caucus candidate, or just say an America First candidate. You have the opportunity. But for whatever reason, Trump is stubborn with the House Freedom Caucus. Now, as for the rest of Montana, you really didn't see much of anything because most of these races were uncontested, but look at the Republican primary versus the Democrat primary. Tim Sheehy himself got more votes than the Democrat primary combined. Now, is this because Montana is a Republican state? Of course, you're going to see more Republicans voting than Democrats. But the fact that Tim Sheehy got more votes than the Democrats got in total, and I'm going to say that's actually a decent sign for Tim Sheehy because look back at 2018. In the Democrat primary for the U.S. Senate, John Tester, which he was the only candidate running, received 114,000 votes. On the Republican side, Republicans received 153,000 votes in total. So about 40,000 more votes. Here, it's about 80,000 more votes. 2006, the first time Tester ran, Democrats got 108,000 votes compared to the Republicans' 97,000. Democrats outvoted Republicans in Montana. I know, this was, 18 years ago? I understand that, yeah, a lot has changed. This was during a blue wave in 2006. Yeah, I understand that. Same thing in 2018 with it being a blue wave. But mathematically speaking, when you look at the turnout for the Democrat side versus Republicans, this is the worst result Tester has ever gotten. Because this is the first time Republicans doubled the Democrat vote share. Just a raw votes. And there are some votes outstanding. Fine. That's an argument you can say. But this still isn't the best news for Tester because that's 184,000 Republicans that voted compared to 103,000 Democrats. Tim Sheehy himself received more votes than the Democrat side combined. You never saw this back in 2018. You never saw this back in 2012. But here, yeah, that's exactly what happened. It's not a good sign for Tester that, Republicans outvoted Democrats nearly 2-1. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, okay, this might be okay news, but most of what I'm saying isn't the best news because the result in Iowa, yeah, we came close to winning, but we didn't win. We lost in Montana 2nd, and we got a Chris Christie type in New Jersey. Where were the victories they were talking about? The conservative victories occurred in South Dakota. Yeah. Of any state, it had to happen in South Dakota, the one state that no one really talks about politically. No one does. It's a safe Republican state. Now, we're not talking about the presidential race. It's hilarious to see Biden not even cracking 75%. I mean, look at this. He was lucky to crack 60% in a decent chunk of the state. No, this conservative wave happened down ballot. You can't see it here, but Mark Robinson, Stan, and Elect Right, two guys that I recommend you follow. They know South Dakota politics. They've been following this for months now, and what they found was shocking. I didn't hear about this till last night. The America First movement had a wave last night in South Dakota because they had 28 victories to only 14 losses, with 11 races to be determined. But as of the last update, I believe the America First candidates are leading in 8 of them. So do the math. You're talking about 36 wins compared to what? 17 losses? I believe that's what the current math is. I could be off, but either way. The grassroots of the Republican Party took a stand last night. They said, nope, we're done with this crap. And for those that don't know, the South Dakota legislator has to be one of the most rhino-friendly legislators in the country. I don't get why in deep red states like South Dakota, we get stuck with shitty legislators. But that's the reality of it. Well, the grassroots had enough of it, and they said, we're done. We're going to get our people elected, people that actually represent what we support, what we value in life, not rhinos. And that's exactly what happened. It was a bloodbath. 28 victories, a bunch of incumbents that, look at their voting history, yeah, the establishment candidates sucked. We're not talking about just, oh, they're not as conservative as we want them to be. No, they're just full-blown rhinos in deep red districts that should be the most conservative people in the state legislature. Yeah, they're some of the biggest rhinos. Well, Republicans actually took a stand. The voters of the Republican Party said, enough's enough. We're going to get people that represent us in the state legislature. And this is the only reason we had any kind of victories last night. The South Dakota grassroots took a stand. And this should tell everyone that, yeah, if the grassroots actually works together and tries to win, they can in fact win. This proves that they took down a lot of powerful people in South Dakota politics last night. So we just got to see what happens, and hopefully other grassroots realize this, because this proves, yeah, you can actually get conservatives to win. But outside of this, it was a bad night. But this is the only reason I could say it was overall a mixed night, because finally, we actually had victories in a state legislature, in a deep red state. But outside of that, it was not the best of nights. Hopefully we have better primaries down the line, but this is probably one of the worst election nights of this cycle. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.